This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader, going to look into the details on the New York Open. The story of the morning is going to be Bitcoin breaking out of some nice pattern framework. We are trading in the back. I agree with the descending wedge here in terms of the action. Way to catch it. VIP number one, way to trade. We're pushing up against a level that we've been precedingly pushing up against, guys, about that 26,700. We will touch in. I know, let's just say this. I know that you're very familiar with the patterning if you've been trading in the back with us in terms of the breakout potential, where we are headed, and the specific, as we get into this, the specific hindrances that we have, given a bit of a rising wedge on the breakout. Just not a favorite way to break out here with this cupature and handle. I would measure this cupature and handle on the specific 5-minute and look at some specific standard deviations, as we always do, along with moving averages that will come into play. This is as aggressive, I believe, as we can get in terms of a cupature and a handle breakout for Bitcoin on the open. 23.6 engaging along with some of our fire and ice lines. Shout out, this is London, former hedge fund owner, private, non-SEC, not financial advice. Hope you're all doing well. Yesterday, let's revisit real quickly as we look at kind of some muted action on Tesla. She's giving us a minute to dial in on Tesla. We just, looks like we just hit down into the specific. Let me actually reframe this. Let's go to the 5-minute here. I have the 5-minute, just so that you know, the 5-minute, the 15-minute. We're going to add in the 30-minute hourly, the specific 4-hourly, 8-hourly, the daily, and the monthly. These are the time frames in question. I recommend that you have a multi-time frame view as you look at your considerations for entry and exit. Also classifying your trades as flash trades, quick, i.e. hyper frequency, or guys, carry trades throughout the day. Your carry trades are going to be dictated by what? By your larger macro patterns and more significant levels of technicals that come into play in the form of your all your real oscillators and your specific moving averages. Taking a look at the flash trades today, what did we get a bit of here on the 5-minute? We ran into our specific top pro line on Tesla. That was a quick take. And what are we buttressed up against? Let's take a look. Aside from the 5-minute, on the 15-minute, we have the specific 20 moving average on the 15-minute, and we also have the specific cap line feature, which is RSI, MACD, and stochastics. And yes, guys, we had a bull flag in play, and yes, we have potential for bulls to push up through this area, which is exciting on the 15-minute, reminiscent yesterday of the move. If we're looking at the specifics here, reminiscent of the move yesterday that NVDA provided us. What was that move on NVIDIA? Let's revisit that for anyone who did trade and look at the specific standard deviation to the upside. In terms of the 5-minute coming into play, traders are trading this crossover, boom, right into the standard deviation. I've parlayed that into the specific pattern in play on the 15-minute for Tesla. Nice action in terms of that Bollinger Band. In terms of the Bollinger Band, guys, the maximum is up and over the specific 20 moving average. Good to go, right? Absolutely. Let's look at the 4-hourly on open. How did we do on the cap line? RSI, stochastic, and MACD on Tesla. How did we do? Boom, direct hit. Very nicely done on Tesla. If you wanted to bottom this morning, guys, in terms of that feature, you're looking at, guys, at 0.79% the first 3 minutes of trade action. Boom, we did open on that 4-hourly as well. Want to shout out to all of our friends overseas, who this may be a little bit easier than on the West Coast. West Coast, they make us get up early. We'll dig back into Bitcoin in just a moment here. Let's look at the completion and look at the framework here as NVIDIA opened up strongly. And I did mention I wanted to hammer into one specific issue here. We have this specific bull flag, which traded well. We identified this yesterday. See this on the 30-minute with a retouch on. This was after the specific string. I like to set up patterns. I like to set up, guys, trade potential. We call them ops, trade opportunities. That's it, guys. But looking at the move to the upside, downward sloping channel, we identified this yesterday. Got a nice move to the upside. We have a few additional patterns in play, but way to catch that if you did indeed catch that. Beautifully well done. And what did we do on the 30-minute? Boom, hit into this morning the specific top side band and nearly the fire and ice. We'll have to check this for a level of conformance into that top side band. Almost, guys, almost that fire and ice, that pro line along the top. But good action currently on NVDA, and excited that we brought the specific. I won't say that it was hidden, but in terms of the specifics for that bull flag, nice pattern to leave the this stream on. In terms of the 15-minute, you see the conformance with the top side band. Again, these are not over encumbersome. Not all of the specific levels that you're looking at will engage at once. They just won't. For instance, on the weekly time frame down here, you'll rarely see that directly engaged, but you want it on your screen without a doubt. Okay, the daily right now on NVIDIA is of concern. It just is. We're underneath that 20 moving average. Bulls need to maintain up and over. Okay, they need to maintain up and over. What's the attraction here for the bears? Quite a bit of short activity would be expected on the daily along the specific lower, guys, this 20 moving average, and I won't say lower pro line, pardon me, but the specific cap line, okay, which is dropping into that 20 moving average on the daily for NVIDIA. Shorts are piled up along this specific level. Let me go ahead and check in the chat and say good morning, see if everybody is here. We have a small, good group. It's the way that we like it. And just want to say good morning to everybody. Hope you're trading and trading well. We got through some information in terms of what do we got? European Central Bank President. We got some additional information incoming. Nothing really to rock or shake the markets. Right, so the key feature here is what I want to ask you today is, do you have your charts set up? Do you have your charts set up? If you don't have your charts set up on one specific screen, this is going to make a lot less sense. I want you to set up your charts, okay? Understand as well, we have a delay in terms of the natural delay of YouTube. We have a delay of how much time? 7, 8, 9 seconds. Okay, in terms of that delay, you're going to need to learn to pull triggers on your own while watching this information. It can be very beneficial. I know that it's beneficial in terms of your ability to capture the tactics in play. Very important, okay? So as we're gonna look at Bitcoin, let's go back to Bitcoin because she opened up potentially the hottest. Right, let's see where we are at. Let me copy this over if you don't mind real quickly. Have a bit of a small glitch there on the screen. Good, got rid of that. Now let's look at what Bitcoin is running into in terms of standard deviations, in terms of our specific fire and ice lines. What are we hitting? The daily. You guys got it. That daily pro line paid so well across the bottom. You know that. It's not popular to say, hey, we're stopping it to the upside now. I understand that if you're a bull, you cringe. It's okay. But if you're a bull, you love this specific daily lower pro line. What is that daily lower pro line? It is not the standard deviation of the Bollinger Band. No, it's a calculative, a kernel calculative. Very important to recognize that this went for, what, over 6%? In terms of just that slam dunk move to the upside. That was very powerful. That's the daily showing right now. And you're seeing that daily line engage again. Now, whether or not you're a bull or whether or not you're a bear is going to hit this. Boom. I just tell you, you can't stop a bear from hitting this. I mean, you might be able to, but you can convince them. They're going to run right at you guys. They're going to try and they're going to climb you up a tree on this. I guarantee you. You know, they're going to scare you out of the woods on this. If you say, I know you're a bear, but you know, don't short at the indicated line here. Bear's going to power in at your short levels. Bulls are going to power in at your long levels. This is the way it is. Our long levels are the levels below price action. The pro line, the green buy line, and our fire sale line, my favorite line, absolutely my favorite line. Green buy line's consistent, okay, depending on what time frame you're on. But looking at this, a bear is engaged. I guarantee you. The compromised situation that we find ourselves in, the main hurdle to beat on Bitcoin is, again, the rising wedge breakout. Some bulls, conservative bulls, or who have traded quite a bit, just won't trade this. They'll look at this and be like, well, I want to go find a different potential breakout. Hopefully that bull has, listen up, hopefully that bull has, instead of trying to trade the breakout of a pattern to the upside, which we would anticipate would go lower, you'll start shopping for reasons as to why this specific framework should still go to the upside and not revisit preceding level of resistance, flip to support, right? So I'll say this, if and to the extent that there is an underlying interest long, that's when a bull will become more comfortable, or someone who's not initiating a brand new trade in this zone. Mark it that this specific breakout here yesterday already on various time frames did quote unquote fake out bust back down through that level of resistance, essentially that prior pivot which needed to break to the upside. You guys got that right. Now going down late September, early October, And we'll see what happens. Prediction in the chats. No problemo. It's okay. In terms of that, in terms of seasonality with Bitcoin, if you've got it pinned down, you're probably amongst the very few elite that have got that pinned down. Maybe some insider information would help. I would tell you that if you had some insider information, that would help, okay? Maybe someone who did the books for SpaceX while they were unloading their Bitcoin. That might have helped. Anyone with a prediction, maybe that information would help. I would highly suggest that you not trade on insider information. I would strictly and highly suggest you not trade on it. But in terms of predicting Bitcoin, guys, you know, it's not an easy bout. What we do is we focus on the probabilities. That's it. We literally can relax quite a bit looking at the probability framework over the preceding 40 years. You guys know that, 40 years of price action. I'm worried about what's going on right now in the market, right? That's my immediate concern, along with some larger macro patterns. And we do have some good charts in terms of seasonality. You've seen those in VIP. We'll bring that up in terms of Tesla, just some nice cyclical activity, right? In terms of the lack of predictability, as you're watching Tesla on the 15-minute and bulls, trying to pop up and out of the specific bull flag. It's a nice pattern to wake up to. Not bad. We have to say not bad on a Thursday to be sitting tight in a bull flag with a potential for a breakout. What are we up along? Once again, what's engaging? This is the most important thing. What's engaging for trades? The 15-minute on Tesla? It's not a matter of if, guys, it is. What's engaging right now is our specific top pro line and that top standard line of deviation, the second standard deviation. We are not solidly bedrock Bollinger Band guys, maximalists. We're just not. We're not. But it's the simplest, easiest, recreated, say, tactic to, first of all, match up with Wall Street. Second of all, in terms of them having recognized this formally through the New York Institute of Finance. Second of all, for you to match up on your own computer screen. So the dynamics are in play on Wall Street. The dynamics are in play easily on your computer screen, and they translate over to some other nice dynamics that we are able to reincorporate in terms of, let's say, if I were to have a capital risk control line, okay, a kernel derivative of stochastic, say stochastics, MACD, and MACD and RSI, okay, kind of the triple threat here in terms of visualizing stochastic, MACD, RSI, the quintessential kind of the bedrock features here, okay, if I can apply those onto my chart, okay, and get a visual representation here of something that is likely to be interactive in addition to the 20 moving average, in addition to the specific standard deviation. That's something I want to be able to do. It's not for the light of heart. It's not the quick, easy answer that people want, but it is the right answer, okay, in terms of what, guys, the framework that we have put in our R&D into, and not just our R&D, but some heavy weighted R&D. You can look at Renaissance Technologies, etc. And I would just ask that you look into those top-notch hedge funds without disclosing any details or purporting to have such, that you look into kernel calculations, that you look into some issues with, let's say, the Renaissance Technology crowd, and what does that say in terms of the ability to enhance your own game. It doesn't have to be a mystery. It just requires a lot of hard work in terms of the mathematics involved. It's not something quick and easy out of the box, but you know the quick and easy out of the box, it's not, guys, that's often not the right answer. So right now on the 15-minute, it seems like we're losing a little bit of momentum and steam early on. We're about, 14 minutes into the trade session. Again, 15-minute on NVIDIA, hitting around. Let's take a look at a few patterns that we can, while we know that Tesla is trying to push up and out of the specific, out of that specific, while it's rewarding the bears who came in for a flash trade here, bam, right? We're looking at breaking up and out of this specific bull flag. I don't like a curl in feature, a long support on a bull flag. I prefer to have bam, hit to the upside, then downside, upside, downside, both having two hits, 1, 2 on this specific channel formation. Let's say on the actual channel that cuts against the trend. Some people will say, well, if you have a channel to the upside like this, sloping upward, you have a bull flag. No, a typical classic bull flag requires that the specific channel cut against the trend. The trend is up, the channel needs to cut downward, okay? Same with the bear flag. We would have a channel to the downside. Guys, I'm sorry, a slope to the downside, the trend to the downside, and your specific parallel channel would cut against that trend like this to the upside. So we're looking at essentially the bull framework requiring this downward sloping channel. Generally any downward sloping channel is bullish, okay? At some point is bullish, generally, okay? New York Institute of Finance, you guys check that if you want to. In terms of your trading, if you trade a lot, you know that. Downward sloping trend, guys, downward, let's say a downward trend, cutting against the trend would be the bear flag, okay? So just don't get mixed up with this specific nuance here. With this specific nuance in terms of a, let's just look at this, a rising channel feature with a trend to the upside. Just don't get caught in that. When we see that specific feature, when we see this in the market, what do we look for? We look for a potential measured move to the downside. We look for this to break at some point. We want a measured move of the channel framework. If we do have an upward sloping channel, we want to target this to the downside. That's the kind of move that we would like if we have this type of an expression generally. All right, so looking at Tesla, looks like she wants to break up and out. It's almost as if she doesn't want us to quite watch her do it. The market can get like that. You guys trade enough, you're like, that is accurate. Just turn your back for 2 seconds to let her break out. Looks like we'll watch that on our side screen here. In terms of that pattern, congrats to anybody who is involved in it. And again, congrats to everybody who was participating yesterday and found this specific bull flag, and the mix did play out quite nicely. We have on NVIDIA right now. This is kind of a tough, don't you think it's kind of a little bit of a tough cup and handle call, but it is active, okay? If we were to look at the cupature feature, guys, a bit confounded in terms of the cupature feature here, the handle feature here, but these are, I'd say that these specific pattern formations aren't always the best looking. So to the extent that we have the basic dynamics in play here with a cupature, we could go with a specific inverse head and shoulders. You guys see all the patterns in play right now. To the extent that we're looking for quick targets to the upside and a measurement of a threshold of where the bulls might be willing to carry us, we're also going to be looking at some immediate targets. Let's look at some targets requiring that breakout at said level, which would be about that 458. You can mark that at about the 458 being required for breakout. Let's look at some NVIDIA targets from the lower time frame. NVIDIA, as we're just talking about the specifics here, we see that upward sloping channel. That's a big deal, right? It's a big deal for traders to say, okay, fine, we're going to break this. We're going to bust this. While we have a downside target on the daily, that lower band after the cross under on the specific daily moving average. What we're going to do, I'm going to plug into some lower time frames here on NVIDIA. I have the auto draw feature from TradingView on right now as we look to attempt to really test it out. We want to test it out and see how it's doing. It's been effective and ineffective, okay? There have been some good reports and bad reports on it thus far. There is no genie in the bottle, we can say that, but at the same time, we would just, we would welcome any enhancements TradingView can provide, and this seems like it has the potential to develop into a really, really nice enhancement. So we're going to continue to test it on our end. Just be aware that it's going to miss, for instance, I notice it misses cup and handle patterns without a doubt. And that's going to be something as you guys, first of all, just to reframe if you weren't here initially, what we're looking at also on Bitcoin would be a daily, since we have set up an over the 20 moving average, we are looking, let me clean the chart up just a bit, but we are looking at action up and over the specific, let's say target action up and over that 20 moving average. And that's going to be just your standard Bollinger Band, okay? What I'm going to say about that is the following. If we were to look at the specific targets to the upside, being that top side band, one of the benefits that we have in terms of our kernel calculations, again, review the top notch hedge funds in terms of kernel calculations, how they're used. Okay, review a bit more of a corporate, guys, arbitrage environment. What is a kernel calculation? Don't get overly complex with it, but look into it. Okay, so as one of the benefits that we have is that this turns into a target for us, the kernel line here. It was a great target to the downside. This has traded on the daily. So while we would look at a technical target to the upside of the top side band based on Bollinger, it's not the only game in town. You all know that, but I reinforce it again because it's recognized by Wall Street and it's easily recreated on your screens. and traded, okay, along with your pattern dynamics. I always say if you have a, please pay attention, if you have a target to the upside, I always say this, if you have a target, what do you need to get to your target? You need a pattern to get to your target. That's the most impressive thing if and when you can master that is, okay, I have a target being the specific top side band. What do I need now? Now I need a pattern to get me to my target. That will complete your trade game in terms of just blindly directionally trading. And this is what a trader will typically do. You know that. I try to not fall victim to this myself, but I want, let's say, Bitcoin to go up. Great. I want Bitcoin to go up. And what does that mean? Well, I'm going to start directing all of my energy directionally without what? Without a pattern to get me to my target. In that instance, my target would be up. That's it, guys. This is how simply people start is I want to go up or I want to go down on a specific asset, Bitcoin, or if we were to look at things, Bitcoin or any asset you choose to trade. So to me, the up or down is also a target. What do you need to go up? In terms of to accomplish a target or a movement up, you need a pattern, okay? So if you will always couch things in terms of a pattern, all right, you'll be operating in line with the top traders on Wall Street, guys, and around. And what you'll be doing is requiring yourself more than just the hunch or the will of what you want in the market. And that just can be debilitating. You know that. It's like, well, I just keep wanting it to go up. I keep trading incorrectly. And it'll require you to also hopefully look at those probabilities. And when I say probability, I don't mean 50%. I don't mean 51 instead of 50%. That's the most destructive thing you can do in the market is be satisfied with 51%. Not at all. We want the 75%, the 85%. And there's a huge and critical distinction between the 75 and 85% trades that you can capture and the specific 51%. Yeah, 51% looks like a joke. That tagline, the probability is, probability, guys, is really nothing more than a mere, I say possibility. If you're looking at like a 51% or otherwise, you know that. You know that if you trade a lot, you don't want to be stuck in the rut with a 51%. Guys, get away from that. Work on and focus on those 75% probabilities. Focus on those, the 75% to 85%. That's what makes this look easy. In the long run, we have some specific patterns that we focus on frequently. You'll see this rising wedge frustrating a bit, without a doubt, in terms of Bitcoin. The market overall backing off just a touch, not just on Bitcoin, on Tesla a bit, and we'll dig into, let's see what NVDA is doing, NVIDIA as well. So we're seeing a little bit of a back off down into preceding. It's like you know, we had some action here in terms of the 3 minute. Let's look at the 5 minute if we can on where are we at? Okay, capital line engaged. Essentially, we're hitting an RSI and MACD level on the lower time frames on NVIDIA. Let's get into what the rejection was and look. That's tough, guys. That's tough. In terms of the 30 minute, what did we hit into the specific top side standard deviation and into the specific fire and ice? For those of you who cannot stand breakout trading and who have been burned by breakout trading, I have a long, let's say a series of agreement with you that I can chime in. It's part of the reason why we have our specific fire and ice kernel calculations. What does that mean? That means on the daily, and that was a sweet move by Bitcoin, by the way, on the daily. But as we look at this on the daily, everybody is heading down. Everybody's looking down. You have to be prepared for lower prices on this. Without a doubt, this descending triangle came into the mix, and even on that pattern, we were looking like, well, this is the move. Let's get busy and get underneath 25,000. First big warning sign is what? To the we're going to look to the left on Bitcoin. Okay, always looking to the left on Bitcoin. Anything you're trading, particularly on Bitcoin, what do you see to the left? You see a level of interest. You see a pivot to the left. Bitcoin will walk people down and burn them who want to just blaze through and power down through a preceding pivot to the left. True, if you trade a lot and this is not a part of your trade game, I know you're losing trades. I don't even have to ask. I know you're losing trades unless you're trading our fire and ice, our kernel calculatives. That's it, guys. So in terms of that, that was one big alert function to the market that we could hold in this area. It's the daily chart on Bitcoin. Nice to see that engage and nice to see an alignment here with our kernel calculations and preceding pivot to the left. So mark that mentally, make a note of it as we are seeing that kernel calculation engage at the lower side and on the upside. And I just tell you, if they weren't significant, if they didn't facilitate trades, we would not use them. If they didn't facilitate the bottom of Bitcoin, we wouldn't use them. Very, very simply, straightforwardly put, and we will, guys, we'll try and we'll always add to something that's a little bit more custom like that, but just so that you know, that's, guys, they're very, very useful. And if you trade frequently, you do know that. So looking at the 30-minute, we're just kind of range bound again. Looks like we're trying to pick back up and out of, this is going to be the question, and Tesla's asking you to settle in a bit. Settle in a bit on this bull flag, because everybody, you know this, everybody on Tesla is looking at this, without a doubt. So what we're going to do at this point, it looks like that time factor has come into play just a bit, slowed down a bit of the, we would just say the momentum in the market. And it looks like Bitcoin kind of stole the show right off the bat. She got up and out. We'll note that because the last few days we had some real nice moves on Tesla and or NVDA. And it seems like some of the opportunities stretched into the afternoon, both on the long and short end on NVIDIA. I want to shout out to Venus. Venus, I believe you caught this, what was this, on NVIDIA after the specific flag formation. This was a sweet short, guys. Looking at the flag formation, what did we run into after the flag? We found this, established that yesterday morning, that trade op or opportunity, boom, to the upside. But the key focal here was that carry up feature, and that the actual Elliott wave considerations here would be a carry up from support to resistance. That was a strong short. Congratulations to Venus, who caught that short. Glad to be a part of all the action in VIP. Congratulations, guys, anyone who did catch that short. Now, what I'll say, we're going to dig into the open. Again, I think Bitcoin stole the show, and it looks like we're going to have a tease of a time getting up and out of this specific bull flag on Tesla, without a doubt. What are we not compromised by, but what do we have here again? I just want to lay this out. This specific cup and handle feature, where are we at? Now, you know, on the 4 hourly, we're at that 50%. Okay, where are the orders right now? You know this. Where are the orders right now? And this is a maximized drawing in terms of the specifics. Where are the orders? They are just pounded into this $260 mark, this preceding level of resistance. We don't have to ask if, we know as a fact the specific levels of resistance here are engaged. If you're looking at any order books that don't have this, the hot ticket in town right now to the downside, your order books are incorrect. I'm just going to tell you that. At least check them. Let's say that. At least check those order books. Okay, the order flow that you may be looking at. Okay, we'll be in the back and we'll be trading. This looks bullish. This looks bullish, doesn't it? If we go for another round down, we're not going to prefer the specific bull flag quite as much. It's going to take more of our time. You guys know the quintessential factor in the market is placing, hopefully, as much capital as you can with the tightest amount of, guys, let's say, the most proficient de-risking that you can engage in. And I mean proficient. And don't go heavy if you're not consistent at all. But ideally, what's the equation? Well, for me, it's as much capital engaged as quickly as possible for as little time as possible with as little risk as possible for the biggest amount of return. Wham, bam. Can we hit it in 5-10 seconds on open consistently? If you haven't seen the specific streams from the last few days, please quickly start off and review those so you can see the type of action that we are attracted to, what we're looking at engaging in, along with our swing trades, along with our quote unquote day trading. Let's get in the back and let's go trade this specific Tesla as the market's kind of just softening up a little bit. We're not going to wait around and see. I know you guys have a busy day planned. It's a pleasure to come to you. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Now, on the specific, let's just mark this. On the specific maximizes, not on the 4 hourly lines, we were at this specific threshold on a 50% on the lines on Tesla. We did, guys, crater to the downside about 2%. I'm going to mark out 285 as a reasonably expected. Guys, these are for bulls only. Bulls, if you're looking for a mark right now, it's going to be a max probability, maxed out on the specific wicks at a 285 with an entry or re-entry along this specific zone. You know that, okay? So if I were to compromise anything on this chart, it would be the following, just so that you have it for your consideration. And when things get complicated, I want to encourage you of one thing. When things become complicated, I want you to recognize the alternative is when things seem very simplistic. Okay, so if things seem complicated, what is that telling you? Well, maybe there's a better opportunity when things simplify a bit. Okay, if you've got 4 or 5, and Bitcoin is an expert at this, if you have, you got it, guys. Don't sit there and work into a frustration when the market's telling you to potentially just hold off for a minute. That's where I really recommend you rewatch a bit of the intro of the last 2 trading days to see how things can be made a bit more simpler in terms of your participation in the market quickly and effectively on an open. But when things get a bit more, guys, a bit more convoluted or complex and you lack the confirmation, I would suggest that you look for simplicity and recognize when you're in a very simplistic, straightforward trade opportunity that, yes, this is what I'm looking for. I don't have the 15 different answers pointing in 15 different directions. We've got an on target, beautiful target, beautiful, or let's say beautiful pattern, beautiful confluence or confirmation on indicators, etc. Like all systems go. That's what we look for. So when you find yourself and you're not experiencing that, you know, guys, if the market were just that literally every day, every morning, perfect for you, it's just not a perfect place to make money. It's a great place to make money, but it's not a perfect place to make money. So recognize when you're in that perfect environment and when you're not. We will be in the back trading. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader. Rewatch those preceding couple of days, please. I really recommend that you do that at least on the actual open. And we'll be trying to stream later today to identify any potential opening guys, chances for a predictive opening tomorrow. We got a little sidetracked yesterday doing some additional technical work. We will talk to you soon. This is London with Bitcoin Spike and VIP Trader.